Hello friends, here we will see the Bank Financial Management LRA, that is the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, and the other remittance facility for the residents. Now see friends, what do you mean by LRS? Some basic introduction part. See, this is basically the scheme. LRS is what? It is the scheme. It is liberalized. It is the liberalized remittance scheme. Means before that scheme, remittance was too much complicated. So that government bring one scheme called as the liberalized remittance scheme, so that you can easily remit the fund in the foreign currency, right? So this is very basic introduction. Now see, here, the scheme facilitates resident individual to remit fund abroad, permitted current or the capital account transaction or combination of both. That means what? Simply, you can send money abroad in the foreign currency. For example, you have to send some money to the USA. Then how you can send? Before that, there was lot of restrictions. Then the LRS scheme was introduced, right? So what do you mean by current account and capital account transaction? That also we will see. Okay, don't worry. Now see, this scheme is available for the resident individual, including the minor. So who can send the money? Obviously, individual person can send, and even minor can send the money. Corporate partnership firm, HUF trust and NRI are not eligible. Okay, so it is very important to note that. You have to note, under the LRS scheme, the corporate body, partnership firms, HUF, Hindu Undivided Family, Trust and the NRI, they are not eligible. Okay, so there can be the question for the MCQ. Okay, so remember, the corporate partnership firm, HUF, Trust and NRI are not eligible under the LRS scheme. Okay, now see, what do you mean by capital account and current account transaction? So see here, capital account transaction and the current account transaction. So simply see here, as per subsection 2E of the FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act, the capital account transaction means the transaction which alter the asset liability. So what is the capital account transaction which alter the asset liability? So due to the transaction, asset or liability changes, right? Including contingent liability outside India of the person resident in India, or the asset liability of Indian in India, person outside India. Simply, what do you mean by it? Simply see here. See, what is the capital account transaction? Where the asset or liability changes. For example, if you have purchased some property in the USA, then your asset increase. That is what? It is the capital account transaction, right? If you are sending money from USA to India to repay your loan in the India, right? So your liability decreases. That means this is transaction, whatever happen, it is through the capital account transaction. Got it? So the capital account transaction means simply the transaction where asset or liability alters, that is changes, right? Very simple. Now see here, including contingent liability. What do you mean by contingent liability? Contingent liability means the liability which may or may not arise. For example, say bank guarantee, right? Bank has given a guarantee that this is the customer of bank and he will pay that money. Okay, if that customer fails, then bank directly pay that money. That means this may happen or may not happen. That means this is what that is what basically the contingent liability. Contingent means it may come into picture or not, right? Outside India of the person resident in India, that means you are purchasing asset or a liability you are having, right? You may have you may in India or outside India, right? Outside India of a person resident in India, or liability asset in India, person. So where the person is staying doesn't matter. You may be in India or you may be in the USA, right? So if your asset liability changes, simply see, if you are in India, right, you will purchase asset or a liability in the USA, right? If you are in the USA, you will purchase asset or liability in the India. In both cases, irrespective of whether you are located, whether in the resident country or the foreign country, the transaction will be counted into the capital account transaction. So I repeat, what is the capital account transaction? The transaction where asset or the liability changes, right? Very simple. Now, for example, say a resident individual invested abroad in the equity of the overseas company for creation of asset outside India, right? For example, you have purchased some share of Apple company in the USA. What happened? Then you will what? You will get asset in the USA. This is what? This is the capital account transaction. Next, a resident individual purchased a property abroad, that is creation of asset outside India. For example, you have purchased some flat in the USA, some apartment in the USA. This is what? This is the capital account transaction, right? Next, see, a capital account transaction and the current account transaction. Subsection 2J of what? The FEMA. Current account transaction means the transaction other than the capital account transaction. So what is current account transaction? The transaction apart from the capital account, all are the current account transaction. It includes the payment for the trade, interest on the loan, income on the investment, expenses connected to the travel or a family maintenance, medical treatment. So whatever transfer of fund are happening other than capital account, these are the current account transaction. It may be the payment for trade. For example, import export you are doing, you are using fund for that. This is what? This is the current account transaction. You are doing interest payment on the loan. Your repayment of the loan is what? It is the capital account transaction. But interest payment on the loan is what? It is the current account transaction. Then income on investment you are getting. This is the current account transaction. But you are investing directly. It is what? It is the capital account transaction, right? Then expenses, maintenance abroad or the medical treatment. These all are the current account transactions. Very simple. Now see, for example, a parent remitting fund to the dependent son, daughter who is in the abroad for the education expenses or maintaining the student abroad. So obviously this is what? This is the current account transaction. Next, section 4. So we have to see some section under the FEMA, right, which are important for exam point of view. Section 4. What section 4 says? See, according to section 4, provided in the act that no person in India shall acquire, hold, own, possess or transfer the foreign exchange or the foreign security or any immovable property situated outside India unless it was acquired being a non-resident. So this was rule before. Means what? Unless you become NRI, you cannot purchase property, you cannot transfer the fund, you cannot have interaction with the forex. This is what? Before the LRS. So after the liberalization, means after 1991 or after the LRS scheme basically, or after 1991, the resident individual, that means any Indian individual can permitted to invest abroad in the property, equity, that means purchasing of share of company subject to the guidelines. Then after LRS liberalization, what happened? Resident individual can do the forex transaction. Got it? So section 4 allows individual for purchasing property, shares or equity outside India. Okay, before it was not available, right now it is available. Okay. Next, section 6. Section 6 says that a person can sell or draw, means buy or sell the foreign exchange from an authorized person, from the authorized person AP for a capital account transaction. Capital means any class or classes of capital account transaction which are permissible and the limit up to which such transactions are permissible. So simply what is the capital account transaction? Where you can purchase the property or you can repay the loan, that is asset or liability changes. So these transactions, that means that you can do the foreign transaction, that is buying and selling of the foreign currency can be done using the capital account for the asset creation or liability discharge, right? This is given in section 6. Okay, section 4, section 6. Now section 10.6. Section 10.6 says that the person which is other than the AP, that is authorized person, who has acquired or purchased the foreign exchange does not use it for such a purpose, right, and does not surrender it to the person within a specific period if such a foreign exchange is not used or uses the foreign exchange to acquire the purchased for any other purpose not permissible under the provision of act. That means what? Simply see, you are planning, you have purchased a dollar, right? You have given rupees and you have taken the $1,000. Purpose is what? You have to send it to the abroad for your student or your son who is studying abroad, right? But you have not sent it, you have kept it with you, right? So how to deal with that? Means you have done the offense. It is not allowed. It is contravention to the provision of the law. That's why you may be punished. You may be punished or any recovery can be done from your side. That means what? This is all about the section 10.6, which says within what time you should return the foreign currency which you are held, right? Simply. Next, in a nutshell, this section is all about the utilization of foreign exchange availed from the authorized dealer for the purpose for which being foreign exchange has been availed. That means simply it is giving guideline that the purpose for which you are purchasing the foreign currency, the same should be used, right? The purpose should be maintained. This is what in the nutshell you can say. Now we talk about section 11. So section 11 says, to secure compliance of the provision, RBI may give the authorized person direction with regard to making payment to desist from doing any act relating to the foreign exchange or foreign security with regard to furnish such information in such a manner it deems. So with regard to failure of furnished information, filing of return imposed a penalty up to 10,000. So basically section 11 says that what authorized person or authorized dealer has to behave. Means what? So basically, see, section 11 of the FEMA says that RBI can give guideline to the authorized person so that how they can conduct the foreign transactions, forex business. And if they are not following the guideline of RBI, they can be penalized by the RBI. So RBI has a power to penalize them. How much? Rupees 10,000 penalty RBI can impose on the authorized person. And if they are continuing doing the fraud or continuing doing the mistake, or they are not submitting the report, in such cases RBI can have penalty more 2,000 rupees per day. It is a per day penalty on AP RBI can impose, right? Very simple. So section 11 is all about that RBI can penalize up to 10,000 and 2,000 for every day for such a continuous contravention on the authorized person who are dealer in the forex, right? Now what is authorized person? See, authorized person is the entity. It may be individual, it may be partnership firm, it may be the LLP or the company which can act, which can do the forex business, which can assist the individual for doing the forex business, which will assist the residents. Okay, so we can say the power of RBI to penalize the authorized person, which lies in section 11. So I say, which section of FEMA gives RBI power to penalize the authorized person? So section 11 of the RBI FEMA, section 11 of the FEMA Act give power to the RBI for penalty to the authorized person. Okay, how much penalty? 10,000 rupees or 2,000 for per day. Next, section 13 gives right. What? See, section 13, a person contravenes of any provision. So it is for the person who contravenes the provision of the FEMA. Contravention of any rule regarding to the FEMA shall upon adjudication and liable to pay the penalty thrice of the amount involved. That means you have done some mistake. You have 3,000 rupees, right? 3,000 rupees you have collected from the any authorized person, and if you have not done it as per the law, as per the rule, then how much penalty can be done? The penalty of into 3, so 9,000 rupees penalty can be imposed on you as per the FEMA. And this is the part of provision section 13 of the FEMA. Okay, so section 13 says any person who misbehave or who contravenes the rule of the FEMA can be imposed a penalty 3 times of the amount, or maximum amount is 2 lakh rupees if you are not able to quantify the loss or the amount. So if the contravention is not quantifiable, then if the contravention is not quantifiable, that means you are not able to calculate the amount of loss or the fraud. In such cases 2 lakh rupees is maximum penalty, otherwise into 3, that is 3 times penalty is applicable. Okay, it is section 13. Now in such a cases where the contravention is continue, then in such a cases 5,000 rupees per day will be imposed after first day during the period of such a contravention. That means first day they will impose the penalties, and you are continue doing the mistake on repeated days, second day, third day, fourth day, on continuous day, 5,000 rupees per day penalty can be imposed on you. Who you means the person who is doing contravention, doing the contradictory things about the rules of the FEMA. Okay, now schedule 1. See, we are having basically 3 schedules, right? So schedule 1 we are having where the transaction which are not permitted under the liberalized remittance scheme. We are having section 2 where transactions are permitted but with permission, and we are having schedule 3 where transactions are permitted, so authorized dealer, authorized person have power to do that transaction, right? So schedule 1 not allowed, schedule 3 allowed with permission, and schedule 2 with permission, schedule 3 fully allowed. Okay, in this way. So which business are not allowed? See, one by one. under the LRS. Basically, margin or margin call to the overseas exchange means you are doing, see, margin or margin call means basically option trading, like option trading. If you are doing option trading in the foreign exchanges, then it is not allowed, right? For example, stock exchange of USA, you are trading that in the using option trading allowed, but option trading is not allowed, right? Margin or margin call basically not allowed, but under the LRS is not allowed. Got it? Under the liberalized remittance scheme, it is not allowed. Payment of commission on export made towards the equity investment in the JV or the WOS means wholly owned subsidiary, joint venture, JV, right? So if you are doing the payment for what, the commission on export made for the equity investment, in such cases also the it is not covered under the LRS. Next is what, payment for the callback service. What is callback service of telephone means? Basically, if you are doing the payment, so it was now not available. Previously it was very much popular. All foreign trades were on the call only using telephone, right? But it is not covered under the LRS. Remittance towards the banned or basically the magazine which are banned, you cannot remit to them under the LRS. Purchase of FCCB means foreign currency convertible bond, means the company which issue the bond in the foreign currency. For example, the Tata company issuing bond in dollar. So if you are sending money to purchase it from India, which can be converted into the shares of Tata in India, these are not allowed under the LRS, right? Next, remittance of individual by company to which the requirement of dividend balancing is applicable. So here the dividend balancing is applicable. In such cases, you cannot send money for payment of the dividend. Okay, under the LRS it is not allowed. You can send it, but LRS is not. LRS means what? You will not get the benefit of LRS scheme, right? So friends, see, if you are not getting good quality of the video, you can increase the quality using setting in the YouTube, right? So you can set the quality mode as auto, or you can increase the quality. Okay, you can increase the pixel. Remittance of interest income for the funds held in the NRSP account means non-resident special rupee account. If you are having non-resident, you are staying in USA and you are having rupee account there, special rupee account. So whatever the interest you are getting, you cannot send it again back using the LRS. Okay. Next, lottery winning. Obviously, the money you are getting here using the lottery, by the way of lottery winning, you cannot send using it LRS, or you cannot purchase even lottery ticket using the LRS. Okay. Remittance of income using racing, riding, or any other hobby. So basically for a hobby purpose, it include the racing, riding. Like for that, you cannot send the money abroad using the LRS. Okay, you cannot remit the income which you are getting through the racing, riding, or hobby. You cannot send it abroad. Okay. Next, remittance of payment of commission on export under the rupee state credit. So what is the rupee state credit? So before that there was a lot of trade between the India and Rus, right? So import export. So basically whatever the exporter, Indian exporter, importer are doing the trade, for that purpose the RBI is giving them as what, as the credit, right? So directly cash is not given, RBI is giving them credit. So that's why that trade is basically called as that scheme. For that purpose, to give the credit by RBI for the importer exporter from the Russia, the scheme was launched, rupee state credit route. It is called rupee state credit route. Okay, and for that also whatever the commission you are sending, that is not covered under the LRS. Okay, so these are basically all about section 1 of the schedule 1. Sorry, it is schedule 1 of the FEMA, okay, which is prohibited. Now we will see schedule 2. See, schedule 2 is very simple, where you need to take the permission before doing the remittance. Okay, so if you are remitting the money for cultural tour, for example, so a group of people going to the Indonesia for cultural visit, in such cases you need approval from what? From Ministry of HRD. Okay, very easy. For if you are doing advertisement in the foreign print media like a New York Times, right, and that advertisement given by any government, state government or public sector undertaking like a bank or Coal India, INGC, ONGC, in such cases they have to take the permission from the Finance Ministry. Again, if you are doing the remittance for the freight of vessel, means charges of the vessel, right, which are generally by the public sector undertaking. In such case also Ministry of Surface Transport, nowadays Ministry of Roadways, right, you have to take the permission. In such cases also where the import through the ocean transport on the CAIIB basis. CAIIB means cost, insurance and freight. We have discussed in detail, right? So don't worry. So if you are doing payment, doing the charges through the ships, basically any by government or government undertaking institution, for them also you have to take the permission for Ministry of Roadway, that is Ministry of Surface Transport. Again, if you are hiring a transponders for TV channel, right, which is obviously from the foreign country, right, so in such cases you have to pay the foreign currency, then you have to take the permission from the Information and Broadcasting Ministry or Ministry of IT, Information Technology, right. Next, if you are sending money as a prize money, right, mainly the scholarship for the sports activity, right, and which is other than what, other than the international body, national body or state level body, right, and if the amount involved is $1 lakh and above, then you have to take the permission from Ministry of Sports or Ministry of the HRD also. Okay, so this is very easy. I will give you a small trick. All the generally public sector undertaking or the government has to take the permission, right, and for hiring the transponders, you have to take the permission from the Broadcasting Ministry, right, and if prize money is more than 1 lakh, you have to take the permission from Sport Authority, right, very easy, and the HRD. Okay, for cultural tool also, culture means human resource, so HRD you have to take the permission. So it is very easy to get it. Next, there are some general guidelines where while operating the forex business under the LRS. PAN card is mandatory irrespective of whatever amount is involved, right, PAN card is mandatory. Then remit fund abroad for a permissible current schedule 3 remittances or permissible current account transaction or combination of both. That means you can do the fund transfer for current account, for capital account, combination of both also, both are allowed under section schedule 3, where the remittances are freely able to transfer by the ED, right. See, schedule 1 is ban, schedule 2 is allowed with the permission, and schedule 3 gives full credit, full power to the authorized person or the dealer for the forex transaction. Next, ED bank frame appropriate guideline. See, obviously the ED bank can frame the appropriate guideline for the forex. Next, customer to designate a particular branch of the bank through which all remittances can be made. So then there can be we are very much aware, right, we are having some branches called like the forex branches, so they are mainly dealing in the forex, like that. Okay, so particular branch we can dedicate. Transaction fee allowed to up to the 2,50,000. So what is the LRS? What is the LRS? Basically in the LRS scheme, maximum up to 2,50,000 of US dollar in the financial year you can remit without any hassle. That is what basically the LRS scheme. So that figure you have to remember, 2,50,000 per financial year. Okay, so 90% in the question the answer will be 2,50,000 US dollars. Okay, because this is a threshold limit under the LRS, you have to remember. Okay, whether you are doing current account transaction or the capital account transaction or combination of both, no worry. Only the thing is that the amount is 2,50,000 per financial year US dollar or equivalent you can use in the foreign conversion for the under the LRS scheme. Okay, now see the frequency of remittance. It is not necessary what should be the frequency, right? So frequency of remittance in a financial year. However, once the remittance of the 2,50,000 is utilized, no further remittance is allowed, right, even if the proceeds of the investment have been brought back. So it is not necessary. See, you have invested 2,50,000, right, and you got it back, again you will get whether the limit 2,50,000, no. If you have invested, so you will get only limit in the financial year, right? So you can send 25,000 10 times, you can send 50,000 5 times, or you can send 2,50,000 one time. This is what the aggregate limit you are getting. You are not getting, and so what it is mentioned here, though no restrictions on the frequency of remittance. You can remit one time or 10 times. The overall cap is 2,50,000. Okay. So again, if limit is over, you cannot send the money again, right? So for that some exceptions are there, we will see. So in case of the proprietorship account, you are very much aware, for the proprietorship account, PAN card of proprietor is same as the PAN card of the firm, right? So in such cases, the limit for $2,50,000 is aggregately combined for both, that is proprietor also and the firm, that is sole proprietorship also. That means individual and the firm combinedly get the $2,50,000 limit in case of the LRS under the LRS scheme. So what we can say, the proprietor and the firm will be considering as the single unit for the LRS scheme, right? So eligibility of the proprietor in his individual capacity has to be reckoned, right? Next, international credit card or international debit card or even ATM card can be used for the current account transactions. So obviously all cards you are using internationally, that will have the only the current account transactions, right? Citizen of a foreign state other than the Pakistan who is a resident in India, who is coming to India for any purpose of employment, deputation or any specific duration for a specific job or any assignment, then if the duration is not exceeding the 3 year, then he should not be the permanent resident. In such a cases, he can make the remittance using the LRS scheme. Means what? Simply I say, if the Barack Obama coming to India, right, he is staying in New Delhi for the purpose of 2.5 year, right, and he is sending some dollar back to the Michelle Obama in the USA, right, and his stay is not more than 3 years. In such cases, the Barack Obama can use the benefit of the LRS scheme, right? Obviously Barack Obama should not be from the Pakistan, right? For Pakistan people it is not allowed. Okay, next, any amount excess in the LRS subject to the prior approval from the RBI. You have to send more money which is more than the LRS limit. What is the LRS limit? $250,000 in the financial year. You need a permission from the RBI. Obviously proper due diligence must be taken by the AD bank. AD bank means like the bank like SBI or any other bank from where you are sending the money abroad, right? Then operational guidelines. See again, AD should obtain the bank statement of a previous year to satisfy about the source of fund. So obviously what is source of fund? Where you go, from where you got money to send it abroad. For that you can call the ITR. You can ask customer, give me the ITR. AD means the bank like you. So you can ask customer, give me your ITR, give me source of fund from where you got that money, right? So you can ask that to the customer. Apart from that, you can ask the transactions in case of, so you have some doubt for the source of fund, you can ask for the statement. You can see the transaction summary. You can see whether the STR, that is suspicious transaction report, has been filed or not. Okay, that you can do as a AD. Next, fund in fund out criteria that you can check means how much money is going, where it is going, basically that you can tally, right? Next, documentation. What documents are required for the purpose of under the LRS scheme for the forex transaction? See, RBI does not prescribe any document. RBI has not given any standard document. However, AD means the bank which is doing the foreign transaction for their customer, they have some documents they at their own or forms, right? So RBI has not given any standard document. Now form A2 is required. It is called as the FEMA declaration. So form A2 is important, you have to remember. Okay, it is the FEMA declaration. Online submission of A2 form is also allowed. Okay, so form A2 is for a FEMA declaration. Then simplified document must be taken by the bank if the amount is up to 25,000 US dollar. Okay, no need to ask for more documentation. Go simple for limit up to 25,000. Next, declaration can be taken from the customer for source of fund. Then PAN card is mandatory irrespective of the amount. Then you can ask, if the person is going for travel, you can ask for the visa or the confirm ticket. Okay, so these are what the documentation part, which is very easy. So only remember, you have to remember A2 is about the FEMA declaration. Okay, next, there are some operational guidelines. Okay, what are operational guidelines? See, whether the service of a tour operator being availed, the tour operator can collect the amount from resident individual either in INR or FC. So it is very much common that tour operator are arranging the tour. They can collect the dollar or they can collect the rupee. So for a tour operator can have the special foreign currency account they can maintain in the bank in India, for example, say State Bank. Got it? Is very easy. Now, apart from that, TCS, there is some facility called as the TCS. It is not facility, it is the tax collection, right? So generally 5% tax is being collected, 5 to 20, generally 5% tax. Okay, and limit is what? 7 lakh. So up to 7 lakh no tax is supposed to collect, but above 7 lakh tax has to be collect 5%. For example, if you are sending 10 lakh rupees, right, in such a cases up to 7 lakh no tax, so minus 7, so only 3 lakh is remaining. So 5% on 3, so it will be 15,000 you have to pay as a tax, right? So this is the tax collected at the source. So the bank which is sending can collect the taxes. Apart from that, what are the remittances for under LRS for the current account transaction? See, If you are visiting to the country, any country which is other than Nepal and Bhutan, then in cash you can exchange up to 50,000 rupees. But if you beyond the 50,000, you have to do the transaction using the account only. Got it? That means up to 50,000 you can in cash, you can do the cash transaction of foreign currency exchange, right? Other than visit to the Nepal and Bhutan. Otherwise you have to route the transaction through the account only. Okay, very easy. Now utilize the foreign exchange to be surrendered to the AD within 180 days. Unutilized, that means you went to the foreign country, for example USA, and you come back and some dollars are with you still if you return to the New Delhi, right? So once you return to the New Delhi or India, so within 180 days from the date of return to the India, you have to submit whatever the dollar you are having with you to the AD, means to your bank. Okay, so unutilized foreign currency must be surrendered to the AD within 180 days. So that 180 days is important, you have to remember. Okay, next, remittance under the LRS. See, for the current account transaction, again release of foreign exchange in the form of cash. So it is very, very important how much you can exchange. So see, the people are going for the Hajj Yatra, right? For the Hajj, they who will decide the limit? So for Hajj, how much amount can be encashed in the cash for the foreign currency? In such a cases, Hajj Committee of India will decide that how much amount the Hajj pilgrim can exchange in the cash for the foreign currency, as a foreign currency, right? Exchange of foreign currency. Okay, amount will be decided by the Hajj Committee. Next, travelers proceeding to the Islamic Republic, for example Iran, the country like Iran or Russian Federation. Why Russian Federation? Means Russia and the country which was part of Russia before split of Russia. It is around 15 countries, right? So Iran and Russia and 15 countries, full exchange. So there is no limit, right? You can give rupees, they will give you their foreign currency without limit. Okay, so good for Russia and Iran. Not only Russia, Russian Federation. So here Ukraine is also included, and other some around 14 countries, right? So simply remember Russian Federation, Iran, no limit, right? If you are traveling to Iraq and Libya, up to 5,000 US dollar, you can exchange the foreign currency in cash. If you are planning to travel to other country, you can have 3,000 US dollar a cash exchange, right? So remember the limit for Iran, Russia, no limit, full exchange is allowed. Iraq and Libya 5,000, and the US dollar 3,000 for all other country. Okay, and for a Hajj committee will decide the limit every year for the Hajj pilgrims. Next, what are the about the gift? How you can send the gift to your relative? So see, relative means what? See, simply Companies Act 2013 define relative, one who is another of the member of HUF, one person in India and member of HUF is another in the USA. So it is the you can send them gift. Husband and wife send each other, right? Very easy. Or the person which is related to in a manner, for in the way of father, including the stepfather, mother including stepmother, son including stepson, daughter's husband, brother and brothers, even stepbrother, sister including stepsister. So basically what I have to say, father, mother, then daughter, right? Then brother, sister, father, mother, brother, sister, daughter, then son, daughter's husband and son's wife. These are all included into the definition of relative. Got it? So for them you can send the gifts. Apart from that, if you have to say not included, so what is not included? So not included is what? Stepdaughter, then father's father, father's mother, mother's father, mother's mother, son's wife, right? Son's daughter, or daughter's husband. So he basically in-law. So these are which are not included. Okay, so simply you remember what is included. So I repeat, included is what? Included is the brother, sister, then son, daughter, son's wife, daughter's husband, right? Then brother, sister, son, daughter, their wife and husbands, and father, mother. So these are included, right? Next, resident cannot send a gift to the another resident. So if they are not have relation, they cannot send the gift, right? Using the letters credit in the foreign currency account. Okay, so it is very easy. Donation to the person outside India, to the organization outside India. So how you can donate? See, donation to the person outside India or to organization outside India. See, whatever the LRS you are doing, that must be routed through the current account, right? Donation basically routed must be through the current account, not capital, right? Immigration, what is immigration? Simply immigration means you are permanently settling in the other country, right? So in case of immigration, again the limit is very much same. US dollar of a 2,50,000 amount in the one financial year you can take with you if you are migrating to other country, right? And if you have some documentary evidences, right, in such cases you will get more money to carry with you in the for going to the settlement in the other country, right? So what is the limit? 2,50,000. Okay, very much common limit. Now foreign bank guarantee towards the overseas employee or immigration is not. See how you can give the guarantee if the person is going permanently in the other country or even other employers, you are not able to give the foreign bank guarantee, right? So it is very easy. So it is very important to note that this should not however be the earning point credit to become eligible for immigration by way of overseas investment in the government bond, land, commercial enterprise, etc. So basically it will not give the advantage if you are invested in the government bond, land or commercial enterprises. You will not get benefit in the immigration. Okay, if you have a lot of money invested here itself, for example you are having a lot of property in India and you want to move permanently to the Canada, then you cannot say that I have more property in India, give me more money, more than 2,50,000. No, you cannot allow to take it with you. Obviously if some documentary evidence you are producing and it is satisfaction of the bank, then they can send you more. Okay, next, going abroad for the employment. In such cases the remittance under the LRS for the current account transaction is allowed. Okay, maintenance of close relative, you can send fund for the maintenance abroad. This is what defined in the section 277 of the Companies Act also. Okay, no need to worry about the section. Purchase of object of art, you can purchase the art in the foreign and for that you can send the money and subjected to it should have following the foreign trade policy, right? So you can purchase the object which is the object of art basically. If you are going for the business trip, it may be the travel for the business, attending the conference or special training. In that also, then in that case also, you can use the benefit of LRS scheme under the current account transaction, right? Very easy. Now, what are allowed under the medical expenses? So for medical treatment, again the same limit is 2,50,000 US dollar is allowed in per financial year without any estimate from the doctor. And if you went abroad and you are having expenses like a $3 lakh, in such cases you need to take the permission or the prescription or the estimate from the doctor in India or hospital doctor abroad. So it is not necessary from where you take the estimate. You can take the estimate from doctor in India or the hospital abroad because you are going there, right? So doctor from New Delhi can prescribe that the more cost is required, so he can give the estimate. Based on that estimate, bank can allow the fund transfer more than 2,50,000 US dollar. Okay, so doctor in India is also allowed or doctor abroad also allowed. So only thing is that you can have the transaction up to 2,50,000 US dollar. For more transaction of for the medical treatment, you need permission from the you need estimate basically from the doctors anywhere in India or the abroad. No need to worry. Okay, next, a person who fallen sick after proceeding abroad, means you went for travel to the USA and you fallen sick there. In such cases also you will get more amount, that is 2,50,000 as what for the medical treatment. Again on prescription amount can be increased on estimate, right? So without seeking prior approval from the RBI. So you don't need prior approval from the RBI. So there can be a question, you went to USA for travel and you fallen sick and doctor suggested the surgery of $3 lakh. So how you can get it? Okay, so basically for that, whether the permission of RBI is required? No. For medical treatment, sudden it is sudden, right? When RBI will give permission, when you will be operated by doctor. So in such cases, no permission from RBI is required. Okay, next, in addition, if you are going to the treatment to the USA, right? So only patient will not go, one attendant, one family member can go as attendant. So for that attendant also the limit is 2,50,000 he can carry with. Okay, you can do the transaction in the foreign currency, he can exchange basically, right? Foreign currency up to 2,50,000 US dollar, right? So for attendant also limit is 2,50,000 per financial year. Apart from that, if you are planning to go study abroad, obviously you will get the limit of the same 2,50,000. It can be increased, right? It can be released. Means obviously you have to take the admission in proper good university, and that bank should satisfy with it. Okay, documentary evidence you have to submit. Okay, it is very easy. So limit is, you have to only remember the limit 2,50,000 for studies also, right? Foreign bank guarantee is also not allowed in case of student, right? You are going to study, why the foreign bank guarantee is there? Okay, now simply see this para. If you are moving from India to the USA, right? If you are moving from India to USA, then you are having account in the India in the SBI, right? So whatever account in SBI, once you move to the USA, you become the NRI. You become the NRI, right? So your account in the India SBI bank will be converted into the NRO account. Got it? You will become the non-resident ordinary, right? So your account, saving account, will be converted into non-resident ordinary, and in such cases, from USA you can send money up to $1 million into that NRO account. So basically you can have the facility of NRI now. Got it? So this is what all about the NRO account. Once you shift to the USA or other country, your account in the saving account will get converted into the NRO account, and in that you can maximum take up to $10 lakh. That is $10 lakh means $1 million US. Okay. Now TCS. What is TCS? I have already told you. TCS is simply the tax collected at a source when you are doing the foreign currency transaction. Up to 7 lakh there is no transaction, no TCS, no tax basically. But since October 2020, the 5% TCS is applicable. Okay, up to 7 lakh there is no tax simply, right? Now see, in case of if you don't have the PAN card or Aadhaar card, then the tax limit is, tax slab is 10% flat, right? Very high. Now domestic rupee account for the NRO account under the LRS, the TCS is also applicable if you are transferring funds. So if you are transferring fund from your normal rupee account to the NRO account, NRO account means what? The account who is this is the account of person who has left the India, and the saving account now converted into the NRO. If you are transferring your fund to that also, it is also applicable the TCS, right? That means you are transferring fund to NRO account basically. For that purpose also the TCS is applicable, right? Now if you are transferring fund and the fund is coming from the education loan, you are disbursing the education loan for study abroad, in such cases what is the tax? Tax collection is only very small, 0.5%, and obviously that is above 7 lakh. That means up to 7 lakh no limit, right? For example, if you are transferring 10 lakh rupees to the study abroad in the USA, so up to 7 lakh no TCS, right? So only 3 lakh is remaining. So on 3 lakh you will get 0.5%. That means 1500 will be deducted as the tax. Got it? Very simple. Now see here through illustration. See, on 4th April, what is happening here? On 4th April, 6,50,000 is being sent. So no tax because amount is less than 7 lakh rupees, right? Again in the same calendar, same financial year, on next month he sent 9,50,000. Means what? Total how much he sent till now? 16 lakh rupees, right? So up to 7 lakh no tax. So 16 minus 7, so 9 lakh is remaining. So on 9 lakh 5% will be the tax. Okay, so around it will be 45,000. Next, a customer B is doing what? 20 lakh he is sending on April 3rd. So 20 lakh, so up to 7 lakh no tax. So 20 minus 7, so on 13, 5% should be the tax collected. So amount will be 65,000, right? Now here person is remitting 10 lakh, and for the education loan, in such cases up to 7 lakh no tax, so remaining is 3 lakh. On 3 lakh 0.5%, because it is education loan, so 1500 will be the tax collected. Okay, it is very easy, right? Now see here what we have to see. This is, here we will stop, right? Here we will stop. We will continue the remaining discussion in the next part. So meanwhile you can subscribe us on the YouTube, you can join our Telegram group. For that you can directly search on the Telegram CAIIB Banker Zone, and obviously you can download the Banker Zone application from the Play Store. Okay, link is given in the application. Link for the application is given in the description, right? The name of the app is Banker Zone CAIIB. The name of the app is Bankers Zone CAIIB. You can download this app from the Play Store. Okay, thank you friends.